Some messages are meant to be found. Others are meant to disappear. In this video, every message is real. One was buried in a school wall for more than a century, and a single scrap finally dated it. One was sealed inside a lighthouse wall cavity. The bottle was literally locked in place behind the last plate installed, and one was found behind a bathroom wall in Minneapolis. 2 love letters to 2 different girls, signed by someone no one can identify. These are 3 hidden messages found inside walls. Case 1, Gorham, Maine, Academy Building. This begins in Gorham, Maine, inside the Academy Building at the University of Southern Maine. The building is older than the university itself. It was built in 1806. A major renovation started in the summer of 2022. And at first, it was normal historic work. Siding, rot, repairs that old buildings always need. Then a contractor opened a wall cavity near a stairway and found paper. Not 1 page, a lot. Scraps dropped into a hidden gap like a dumping ground. Homework, doodles, notes passed between students. The kind of evidence you'd throw away fast if you didn't want a teacher to see it. And the wall did exactly what it's supposed to do. It kept the evidence for decades, for generations. What makes this case special is the way it was dated. Among all those scraps was a promissory note with a clear date. October 5th, 1873. One tiny piece of paper turned a pile of random scraps into something else. A preserved moment of student life, not written for history books, but trapped in a wall anyway. And it changes the feeling of the whole discovery, because the notes weren't hidden to be found. They were hidden to be erased, which is why Case 2 hits differently, because that message wasn't thrown away. It was placed. Case 2, Cape Bruny, Tasmania. Bottle sealed in the lantern room. During conservation work, a specialist painter treating rust noticed something in the lantern room wall cavity. It was a bottle, and it wasn't loose debris. It had been sealed in there, protected from the elements. The contents were extracted with conservators because the bottle was sealed with bitumen and the paper could tear during removal. Inside was a 2-page letter dated January 29th, 1903. The letter described upgrades made to the lighthouse that year, including a new iron spiral staircase, replacing an older wooden one, the replacement of the floor, and changes to the lantern room. And then you get the detail that makes this feel intentional. According to the official account, the bottle was placed behind the last plate installed in the lantern room on that same date. That's not an accident. That's a time capsule disguised as a maintenance record, a worker sealing proof of what we changed and who was here into the building itself. So now we've seen 2 types of hidden messages: the wall as a trash can and the wall as a vault. And that brings us to the last case, because this one wasn't hidden by engineers. It was hidden in the most ordinary place imaginable, behind a toilet. Case 3, Minneapolis, Minnesota, bathroom wall, love letters. In Minneapolis, a couple renovating their century-old home peeled back layers of paint and plaster behind the toilet and found items trapped in the wall. Not just random objects, old toiletries, razor blades, bottles, everyday life sealed away. And then they found the thing that made the whole wall feel personal. 2 love letters, not 1, 2. They were written to 2 different girls, Hazel and Pauline. Both letters asked the same thing: a dance, a declaration of devotion, and both were signed by the same person, John B., and another name, Lolly. The letters weren't dated, so the couple started doing what people always do when a story feels incomplete. They investigated. They searched deeds. They tried to match names to the house's history. They found possible matches, including families that lived in the house from the 1920s through the 1950s and other owners later. But there's a problem. Even with research, they still can't prove who John B. really was. And that's what makes this case the strongest. Because it isn't just old paper. It's a human story that stops right before the answer. Why were the letters never delivered? Why were they hidden behind a bathroom wall? And why were there two separate romances in the same hiding place? Then the story does something rare. It loops. Before sealing the wall back up, the couple left a photo of themselves and a note about who they are for the next person to find. So the wall became what it always was, a storage place for secrets and a message to the future. 3 walls, 3 different reasons a message survives. In Maine, students hid evidence of their daily lives, and time preserved it anyway. In Tasmania, workers sealed a record into the lighthouse like a signature under the paint. In Minneapolis, a love story was hidden behind plaster, and the ending is still missing. Walls don't just hold buildings up. Sometimes they hold people. That was the missing chapter.